What do you think people need to know about the construct, the group, Black Lives Matter?
They need to know it really means Black Lives Matter. Because you're believing the lie. The whole power behind Black Lives Matter is their ability to get you to stop dealing in reality and start dealing in guilt. You know in your soul it's garbage. But you can't say it because somebody might not like it, but you know. So I want to know, instead of them talking about Black Lives Matter, what happened to you white folks? What happened to you folks? What happened to the Vikings? Tell me about the Vikings. Where are you? Where are the Roman legionnaires who didn't take that mess? What happened to the Roman knights? I mean, to the English knights? You guys are like cowards. They call your name, you back the heck off. Are you kidding me? So you got a bunch of Black Lives Matter. Think of what they're saying. They're saying that every problem they have requires white folks to do something. Well, Black Lives Matter really is saying that they believe white folks are superior. They believe white people owe it to themselves to take better care of their animals. They're saying, I can't take care of my problems, you're responsible. They will say it. They will say things like, you better start caring about us more. Are you kidding me? How can you care about me? I'm grown. Why would you? They believe in white superiority. They believe it. They're comfortable in that. So they'll come and demand for white folks, I need a $15 minimum wage. When they should be saying, I need to find out how to get a maximum wage. They go to white folks and say, I need low income housing. Instead of saying, let me figure out how to get high income housing. And so they want better education. Folks, the libraries are free. You can even go and monitor a class in college for free. If knowledge is power, go get it. What you're saying though is a degree is power. A degree is not power. Knowledge is power. So Black Lives Matter. I was called by a gentleman that I support in running for governor. He said, Mason, every time I go out, they're going to put a microphone in my face saying, does Black Lives Matter? How do I respond to that? I said, respond. Look at the camera and say, it doesn't matter if I believe Black Lives Matter. If you believe Black Lives Matter, join me and make Black lives better. Join me and let's build up black income. Join me, let's build up black schools to be right. Join me, let's build the black family together. If you believe Black Lives Matter, act like Black Lives Matter to you. Let's make it better.
Okay, the first black president. We could have healed this land, one would think, with the first black president. Has he done more harm to race relations, or is he on the path of bringing us together?
Maybe just the white half. That's all. Maybe the first black president. It doesn't matter what color the pimp is. It doesn't matter what color the drug dealer is. It doesn't matter what color the con artist is. That's not really matter. It doesn't matter if the healer, if my doctor is black or white. It does not matter if the police can rescue us black or white. Barack Obama hates America. Barack Obama hates the culture. Barack Obama, of any color, hates successful people. So therefore, his job is to divide us by our differences and manage our differences. So no, he's done nothing. He will do nothing but continue to drive us further and further apart.
August 11th, 1971. What happened to you?
August 11th, I was a high school dropout, poor family, Navy man, working on a career in pipe fitting, hard work, back-breaking work, and a racist shipmate, a gentleman who I knew was racist. I ordered him to take control over 2,800 pounds. I thought he was just a competitor, not a hating me. And I looked him in the eye when he pushed 2,800 pounds of steel over on me, hoping to kill me. I turned toward him to run out the way, and that weight hit me on my left hip and crushed me to that steel wall, cracked 3 ribs, snapped my ribs, my spleen was ruptured, bladder was ruptured. I hit my helmet against that wall and crushed it in, and I screamed in pain. My eyes closed, I screamed in pain, opened my eyes up and looked him in his eye. He looked like he had just killed a roach or a rat. The look of anger. I've been to Vietnam. I had never seen another man hate someone that much. I hadn't done anything to this guy. And his look, the look on his face, was burned into my memory. It was burned into my eyes. My brain captured that. That was the image of my view of America. And I hated everything white. Even though the 8 white guys rescued me, even though my nurse was white, my doctor was white, even though my physical terrorist or therapist was white, I hated white America because of all the accumulation of things that happened. But this guy personally wanted to kill me because of the color of my skin. I even broke up with a girl because she had a white dog. The hatred fueled my being. I went to Berkeley. I ran with the radicals. I started college in a school that followed the Black Panther Party, American College in Oakland. And I ran with other angry black men, and we just kept the fire going. The white man owed us something. The white man had done me wrong. And the white man, and we just fueled the hatred. Even at the same time, I'm at an all-white school, Berkeley. At the same time, I'm studying. I'm preparing to compete. But on August 11, 1971, my whole view of America changed until something happened later on. But I hated everything about America in those days.
So let's talk about your transformation from a Berkeley liberal to a conservative. How did that happen?
You know, even though I was in the midst of people who hated America, I loved America. Even though I was in the midst of people who wanted to protest America, I was only protesting for the right to compete in America, to be an American, to go somewhere and get a job, to have a home, to borrow money from the bank. I was fighting for civil rights, legal rights. Not to make white folks like me. I didn't care if you didn't want to have lunch with me at the lunch counter. I didn't care if you didn't like live with me or me dating your daughter. I didn't care about that. I cared about, am I going to earn more money than you and take care of my family? So when we won the civil rights, when we had the right to go out and compete, I said, hey folks, let's go do that. But they still want to stand there and hate America. So I began to examine who I was as a man. And in that examination, I had to take a look at Christ again, my Christian roots I had left. So I had to decide if I was going to believe that a grown man came out the grave alive, that a grown man lived and was killed dead and spent 3 days in the grave and came out, that God Almighty looked on me personally and said he was going to come and die for me, that God Almighty, the creator of the universe, called me out by name and said, I'm going to go to the cross for you, that he would and let his precious holy blood shed on that ground for me. He went to that grave for me by name. He will come out calling my name personally. I had to accept that. If I accepted that, that meant everything he said was true, including I had to forgive my trespassers. And I had to forgive that white guy that I hated so much. I had to forgive him because God had forgiven me, and I wanted God to love me and accept me. So I had to give that anger up. Well, I had promised myself I was going to kill him. If I ever saw him again, I was going to kill him. And that caused me to be literally, physically transformed instantly. Instantly, this disabled man who could not drive a car had to bring my foot into the car to drive it. This disabled man who could not lay down in the bed because my back was so hurt. I had to sleep on my knees and my head in the pillow, my behind in the air. This disabled man who could not walk very far, had to go to school every other day. This disabled man became healed instantly because God showed me, when I forgave that white guy, he showed me that hatred was much more heavier than 2,800 pounds. That anger was much more heavier than 1.5 tons of steel. And what would happen in Black America if we forgave, real or imagined, the wrongs we have? If we forgave, what would happen in America if we took God at his word and let him believe? What would happen, all this anger and hatred and frustration that we have? What would happen as a black man, as a Swahili-speaking, black history studying, militant Black Panther hanging out as a black man, with my dashiki and my black beret, as a black man in Berkeley, I would tell you what would happen. What would happen is healing. Instantly, what would happen is progress, success. Your family would be reunited. Your soul will be reunited. That male ego that beats in the heart of every man, black and white, that male ego in that black man will challenge him to take care of his babies, his kids, his wife. That's what would happen if you forgave the wrong. What's happening right now in Black America is we not only have not forgiven the wrong, we consider the wrong a badge of honor. We consider the wrong something we have to correct instead of correcting ourselves. So that what happened to me. I accepted the promise of that cross, and the promise accepted me.
Why such hostility to black conservative leaders?
Well, first off, for black liberals, my very presence is saying you are wrong. My very existence is saying you have been hustled, you have been fooled, you have been taken advantage of. So the very idea of what I'm preaching is saying you are foolish. So they must attack what I'm saying, or they must say I've been fooled. So it's the ego thing. So that's why they get so loud. The first thing they do is call you a name, because when they call you a name, you're sitting there talking about facts, history. And they say, well, you're Uncle Tom, you're a coon, you're a sellout. And you stop discussing the facts and start discussing you personally. That's their trick. So get off the personal, accept the name calling, get back to those facts. It's like a brick to their head, bam, 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 because they're wrong. And until they get to the bottom and accept the fact that they've been fooled by their tribal chiefs, by their community leaders, they've been fooled, they got to first turn their back. The slaves on the plantation were told by master that freedom was wrong, it's bad for you. Who's going to take care of a slave? You think those white folks in the North going to feed you? You think white people are going to give you a job over a white man in the North? Those Republicans, those abolitionists hate you. They want you to die. Your mother left last year. She's dead in the woods. You're never going to hear from her again. She's gone. She's dead. I love you. I give you a home. Your daddy buried here. I give you a place to stay. All I want you to do is pick a little cotton for me. Dang, what's wrong with you? I tell you what, I'll stop beating you every Thursday. I'll start beating you on Wednesday only. If you get back in those fields, pick that cotton for me. And then one slave finally escapes. He gets north, and he meets those Northerners. And he is told, you must go back to free your people, because they know you. So you knock on that door, there's daddy, there's mama. And they're saying to you, master is lying to you about freedom. Freedom is real. I know the way to freedom. I will take you to freedom if you go with me. But I'm not going to sit here and argue about master may not like you, may be upset. If you want to be free, we have to leave now and go. That's black conservatives today. We're saying if you want to be free, you have to do something about it, because master will never let you stop picking cotton for his children. Master will never stop educating your kids in these public game prep schools to work for what his kids have learned to produce. The master will not getting you to buy things, Nike shoes instead of Nike stock, because he wants you to continue to work for his children. Master loves you. He loves you because you're providing the future for his children instead of your own children. On that plantation, the black man's only job was to make babies for master. Today in the hood, what's the black man's job? Making babies for master. He got to take care of them, either past or future. Master took care of them, master fed them for you, and master kept those kids in the fields to make money. And today, he's got black men bragging about how many babies he's making, not how many babies he's taking care of. He's got black women thinking their total self-worth is their genes. I don't mean genes you go into DNA. I mean genes you put your behind in. And so he got you thinking that your self-worth is working for master. Liberalism is slavery. Always has been and always will be.
Do you have a sense that there are more black conservatives than we even know of?
Black conservatives are the most hated group of people in America. We're also the bravest. We lost family members and friends and old buddies. I call myself an only child with 5 siblings because it's a challenge. But black people are conservative in their personal thinking. But this is why I wrote the book Tribalism. Tribalism, your personal feelings still is not the most important feelings. It's the group feeling. So you give up your personal feelings as a woman for the group feeling. And so therefore you follow the group leaders, even though you don't feel that way. You bring your kids to the altar of Satanism, basically, because you don't want to be hated by your friends. So conservatives are standing there as a Walmart blue light special. We're sitting there blinking, bing, bing, bing. You know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. You know they're lying to you, bing, bing. And they hate the light. The darkness hates the light. So our job is to just shine the light, let them hate it. And when they call you a name, accept the name calling. I gave a speech once in NAACP, yes I did, They invited me to come. They knew who I was. Still invited me to come. And they introduced me. The vice president. Now they came in. All of them came in the room at the same time. That means they were planning something, right? They came in. They sat there and they said, "Here's our speaker, Uncle Tom, sellout, handkerchief head, Europeanized black Republican." I said, "Hi, I'm Mason. Now that you know what I am, and now that you know who I am, I want you to listen and also tell me, am I a liar? Because I got things to tell you. I can be a white Uncle Tom, handkerchief head, cool face. I can be all the names you call me. I'm not trying to marry your sister. I'm not trying to hire you, work for you. I can be all those things, but I'm not going to lie to you about who you are and what you are and where you're going to be going." And I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I talked about the slave trade and what happened there. When I finished speaking, all the hecklers were on their feet clapping. When I finished speaking, instead of going down that road, chasing down a rabbit about who I am personally, I started speaking the truth. The next day, the person that introduced me, the vice president, snuck into that Women Confederated Republican meeting, sat in the back quietly, because she wanted to hear more. The truth never comes back void, because God said so.
So liberal policies often are sold as something helpful to the disadvantaged and to minorities and the poor. But what do you say?
Well, gee, let me see now. The drug dealer, this can make you feel good. See, what they do, what liberals do, is destroy you, and they're in tune with your feelings because they're the ones destroying you. So they can articulate to you how you feel because they're the ones destroying you, and you feel like they must understand you because they're articulating to you your pain. If I come up to you and stab you in your back, I feel your pain. Because I got the knife in your back, I feel the vibrations. So they are good at managing misery. Liberals can only manage misery. They can't manage success. Because if you're successful, you won't need them any longer. If you're successful, they won't have the money to manage the programs coming through. The only ones who are successful with liberal policies are liberal managers. They're the same principles, the same spirit of slavery, the same people. They haven't changed who they are. On the slave plantation, every slave had a job. Every slave had low-income housing. Every slave had medical care. You work till you die. Every slave had their problems taken care of by master. Every problem you had as a slave, you had to go to master. You wanted more food, had to go to master. You wanted a better coat, had to go to master. Today, liberals expect you to come to them. Every problem you have today requires a government solution. You can't think of one problem that we have as the people. You and I together, two people sitting there back. Every problem we have requires our government, the master, to come in. We're like children now. So liberalism is really a studied adulthood. They're children. They're children-like. And the liberal concept is that you are inferior to me, but I'm kind. You're like my dog. I love my dog. Take care of my dog, feed my dog. My dog goes to the vet. But my dog better not think is equal to me. My dog's not equal to me. That's my dog. And liberals think of America the same way. We are not equal to them. They will take care of us. They provide for us. Our needs will be addressed by them, but they are superior to us. Liberalism is anti-America.
So what have you found are the best ways to engage other people who may still be those Berkeley liberals that you want to transform and engage and educate?
Okay, first off, understand, you cannot educate every person out there. Some people have a vested interest in staying stupid. So therefore, you must let them lay where they are. And you must move on down the road to find somebody who wants to be cultivated. You cannot spend your time talking to someone with your back bent, trying to convince them because they are now leading you. You're not going anywhere. They're leading you. Let them stay there. They have a right to be wrong. Secondly, you got to be vocal and confident because they're sitting in the atmosphere of fear. They're sitting, that's like an abused woman. The abused woman she'll go to work and say, I got a black eye from falling down the steps. She defend her husband. You call the police, she'll fight the police. If he leaves her, she'll find another man just like her. And the reason she don't support the police, she knows they're going to leave. She knows they're going to leave. But the minute she gets tired, she'll pour hot grease on him, she'll cut him, take them kids 3 o'clock in the morning, and leave out that door in pajamas. You had better set up a place for her to come to, a safe house. You better already have built it. You better already have furnished it. You better have supplies there already and staff for her to come to. So we have to have a place to come to. a location, when you're hurt, when you got tired of being beaten down, tired of feeling like white man, you get tired, come to us. We got a place for you to come to, like church, everywhere else. And you can only bring whosoever will. I don't have time to spend arguing with a person. People have a right to be a fool. I let them enjoy their right.
So if you were head of the Republican Party, or if you were head of the conservative movement, what would you do to build that space?
Oh, that's a great question. Boy, if I was the head of the Republican Party, I'd still go back to your roots, and I'd fire half of them, and the other two I'd put on probation. Because they're trying to make friends with the slaves. Instead of free, who are we, Republicans? We free the slaves. And stop apologizing for treating black folks like they're free. Because black folks ask, what have Republicans done for black people? Nothing. We don't own any. We free black folks. So we're not going to set a program for black people. So we conservatives need to open up the channel. If you want to be free of master, when you left your mother's home, she didn't cook for you anymore. You cook for yourself. When you left your mother's home, she didn't pay the rent for you. When you left your mother's home, you were responsible for the food in the refrigerator. If you want to be free, you have to leave where you are to go where you're going. We can take you where you're going. We can find you if you're lost. We'll pick you up if you stumble, but you got to be heading to where we're going. We're going to freedom. I can't stop and spend time making you comfortable in your slavery. I cannot pat you on the back and make you comfortable in your misery. If you want to be free, here is freedom's train. It's conservative movement. It's going to freedom. But don't act like you expect white folks or me to do things for you. My money, my income are mine, my wife, my grandkids. I am entitled to my money, not you. So I will show you the river, the revenue, the stream of income producing. It's called revenue stream, so you can get yours and I can get mine. Let's fight together to keep it in our pocket. So the Republicans conservatives have to go to black people. We're already conservative. Black folks are conservative. We're Christian. Black people love God. We love freedom. But you're letting the loot left. You're letting the pimps, prostitutes, drug dealers continue to tell us our culture. You let BT tell us what our norms are. Nobody is saying they're crazy. And when you say they're crazy, they'll flock to you. You got one candidate right now that's saying that's crazy. And everybody's flocking to him because he's finally saying what we all believe. We all believe it. So I'm saying, conservatives, act like you're right. You think you're right, act like it. Shout it. Stand up and say, our culture works. Yours doesn't. You have a failed culture called the plantation mentality. You send your kids to a gang prep school, and then you get angry. All I can do is walk on Greek and say, supersize that for you, sir?
So, you know, in a lot of black neighborhoods, people and black families, there's a lot of people who focus on getting onto welfare and getting Social Security disability. How do you talk people out of getting something for free?
They have to have the information about what it takes to get something earned. The black community has been told they have a right. That's what they call entitlements. You have a right to this. White men owe you this. They owe you to sit at home all day long or get a. They would love to pay you to sit home. You still vote for them. They love to pay you, and you don't think white folks can keep gangs out and drugs out, do their neighborhood. So you have to get an idea that maybe there's a better way. And it's gonna take folks to go in. It's gonna take folks like me. See, white folks organize the Underground Railroad. Black folks travel on it. So if you send me back to those neighborhoods, you put me in that black church, you let me stand on that street corner and guys I've trained and talk about, hey, black man, think about something for a minute. Everything you think you can do, you dominate. Everything you want to do, you dominate. It takes white folks to come and tell you you can't do it. Black men, Johnson thought he could be the first black heavyweight champion in the world, knocking out white men in Arkansas married to white women in Arkansas. You had black men thinking they can play basketball in spite of white men who want them to dominate. Black men think we can play football. We think we can sing and dance. We think we can pimp women and sell dope. And we dominate. Everything we think we can dominate, we do. So black man, who's telling you you can't get a job? Who's telling you can't run a business? Who's telling you can't run a country? Who's telling you, black man, you can't raise your kids in your name and your honor? Who's telling you that you cannot develop a social strategy to leave something for your next generation? Who's telling you, black man, that success is the kind of car you're driving instead of the kind of car your grandkids are going to drive? Who's telling you that? Somebody, and that person does not love you, doesn't hate you, they're using you. So, black man, if you think you can be successful, you got two choices. You can either sell dope on the corner or buy a pharmacy. Up to you. Success is yours if you think you can do it. Let's go do it.
So you know from times that you spent towards the Black Panther movement and being around other radicals on campus, there are people who want to cause a revolution in our country and tear down what made us great.
Yes.
And so we are in revolutionary times. We can go one of two ways.
It's about time.
Say more about the revolutionary left.
The left has been in revolution for 50 years. We've not fought back yet. What you see now, we're fighting back now. We're saying you've gotten too grown for that childish behavior. You're not a child throwing a temper tantrum any longer. You're right, they hate success because they can't manage success. They only manage failure. You have to understand, they only manage failure. They're like mushrooms, and you're like a rose. They need darkness. You need light. You cannot coexist. You cannot get along with. They want the lights off. You need the light on. You better decide what you want. You're going to feed them or feed you. America gets what you feed. We've been feeding for 50 years now this notion that people have been done wrong in the country. Women have been done wrong in the country. America's a rotten country. America, 50 years we've been feeding ourselves that garbage, and now we're sick. We got upset stomach. We got to wake up, stand up, and say, wait a minute, what is this? We're the greatest country this planet has ever seen in our life. Anybody envies us, but we're making ourselves weak so our enemies can get strong. On purpose, we allow our enemies to get stronger. We're allowing China to take advantage of us. We're allowing Russia to run over Europe right now. We're allowing red-tailed Islamics who can't even read and write to challenge our Navy and Army. How can we not find 30,000 ISIS troops in the desert? Where are you going to hide them? Under sand or greater sand? This is crazy. We don't have the will to destroy our enemy, while our enemy has the will to destroy us. Someone asked me, Mason, how can you fight an enemy who don't mind dying? I said, it's pretty easy if you don't mind killing. Let's get back to America being great and being powerful and being unchallengeable. There should be a penalty for challenging America. There should be a penalty for coming against America. It should be a penalty for any world leader or contemporary citizen to challenge what the American people want. The penalty should be annihilation and exposure.
With so many people hating America out there and thinking that because we once had slavery, it is flawed eternally, what do you say to convince people that we've come a long way and things are better?
The Civil War in America was the most unique civil war in the history of mankind. You've always had brothers fighting brothers for control of the country, Civil War. But in America, the only time brothers fought brothers to free strangers. That was unique. That was unheard of. We took our nation apart to right a wrong because it was wrong. There's no benefit. Those 360,000 Northerners gained nothing for giving their lives up. No personal glory, no personal fortune, no new land, no benefit for their children. They gave their life because it was wrong. We're the only nation that stood up and tore ourselves apart to correct the wrong. That made us unique on the planet. That made us great from that beginning on. We prospered. The problem is that we're so doggone conscious, so kind, we allowed the enemy to get foothold again. We want to be fair with our enemy. We want to be fair with someone breaking into our home. We want to be fair with them. So we allow them to take our children at an early age and indoctrinate them in school and give them false history and lie. We know it's a lie. We see it's a lie. We figure we can wait till they grow up. We can no longer wait till they grow up. It's child abuse to send your child to public schools now. It is child abuse. It's hating your children to send them anywhere near a public school. They will grow up hating you, unable to read and write, know they've been miseducated. They know they've been miseducated. That's why they hate life. They're miserable because they know they've been lied to. They wonder why did mom and dad send me here. So we have to recognize we were great because we are great. We are still great if we act like we're great. And we only win when we show up by allowing the left to continue to educate our children, to allow the TV and the media to continue to show them what they think their culture should be. It's abusive. So America had better start being Americans again. We're the only place on the planet will allow to get into it because we are great. And we're great because we turn ourselves to God. We're great because we let God lead us. We're great because God was put first. But now we're trying to be equal to the ungodly. We're trying to be equal to those who hate us. We're trying to be equal to those who are attacking our children. It means we don't even love our children anymore. So it's about time we got a little backbone, a little courage, and honored those 360,000 men who died. It was the most we've ever lost in any war in our history. It was a bloodshed for righteousness. America is right because we're righteous. Get back to it.